In the headlines, Nigeria records 1,149 new COVID-19 cases, highest since February. 12 victims of Zamfara abduction, including college security officer, rescued. Bandits abduct another set of Katsina students. And on the foreign scene, Haiti death toll reaches 2,000. Hello and welcome to TrustTV News Update. I'm Zainab Bala. For more news, connect with us across all our social media platforms. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has recorded 1,149 new cases of COVID-19, the highest number of infections in any single day since February 2020. With the latest figure, the total number of infections in Nigeria now stands at 184,593. The NCDC disclosed this on its official website on Thursday morning, saying 1,149 include the 393 reported from Lagos on Tuesday. According to the NCDC, the surge is driven by the highly transmissible Delta variant and the low vaccination rate in the country. The NCDC stated that 7 patients succumbed to the disease on Wednesday, and this raised the country's total fatalities to 2,236. It said the 1,149 new cases were reported from 15 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The NCDC urged Nigerians to take the vaccines, noting that it was still the safest way to curtail infections. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved a committee to immediately commence the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act. The steering committee, which has 12 months duration for the assignment, is headed by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Temipre Silva. President Buhari gave the approval on Wednesday while giving a remark on the act, which he assented to 2 days ago. The president hinted that relevant ministry, departments, agencies have been tasked to work with Silva towards the successful completion of the implementation process. The Petroleum Industry Act would change the dynamics of oil business in Nigeria. This is according to industry watchers, believing that implementation of the new act will bring an end to decades of uncertainty and underinvestment in the petroleum industry. Trust TV's Nafisa Abdullah, however, reports that ordinary people express divergent views on the new law.
The long-awaited Petroleum Industry Act, which seeks to reform the petroleum industry in Nigeria and help the country attract investments across the oil and gas value chain, comes with a lot of agitation and uncertainty. President Muhammadu Buhari, after signing the bill on August 16, 2021, has already approved a committee to commence the implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act. An economist, Dr. Tefa Abraham, agrees with the timing of the implementation, saying it is a welcome development but still has his reservations.
In this current period, space and time, where Nigeria has serious challenge of revenue to fund our budget, where borrowing is skyrocketing, where deficit size of our budget is also expanding, this passage of the bill is very, very timely, because hopefully in the medium to long term, it will open the petroleum industry and expand its capacity to attract more revenue to the country.
He further clarifies reports going around about more Nigerians becoming unemployed and hiking fuel price due to the implementation.
The federal government, through the Minister of Petroleum, still has that power to determine what happens with the price of petroleum product in Nigeria. Not the price of crude oil in the international market, the pump price of fuel in Nigeria. And the government this week has said that it will still remain 162. So any other speculation that is likely to increase, we have to hold on to hear what the government is saying.
Some Nigerians also share their opinions as regards to the Petroleum Industry Act and its effects.
What is happening is that we are not building a nation, but what we are building is tribalism, nepotism, religion that cut across the nation called Nigeria. If we have a nation, what happened in that PIA would have not been. Look at what is happening in Afghanistan today. It is because of injustice, tribalism, and corruption and nepotism. And that is exactly, we are praying that it will not happen here.
Well, to me it's good. It's wonderful because it has earned 13 years tussle and struggle over passage of the bill. And it has earned it to enhance revolution and to enhance stability, accountability, transparency in our oil industry.
It is reported that Nigeria has lost an estimated $50 billion worth of investments in 10 years due to stagnation and uncertainty in the petroleum industry. While the act can be seen as another feather in the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration cap, there is no certainty if the act has come to stay or yield any results. Nafisa Abdul Al, TrustTV News, Abuja.
The All Progressive Congress governors under the umbrella of Progressive Governors Forum have described the newly assented Petroleum Industry Act as the party's convincing credential to restructure the Nigerian economy through the democratic process. Progressive Governors Forum equally commended President Muhammadu Buhari for the historic feat of moving the nation forward and the National Assembly for their parliamentary input in articulating the bill after several years of abandonment. In a statement signed by the forum's chairman, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, the new PIA presents a convincing credential of the commitment of APC to restructure the Nigerian economy through the democratic process in line with provisions of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution as amended. The All Progressive Congress has slated its local government congresses for September 4, 2021. Secretary of the APC Caretaker Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, Senator John James, announced this in a statement. According to the statement, the sale of nomination forms is ongoing. According to reports, the party would conduct state congresses after the local government congresses as processes leading to the party's national convention. Zamfara State Police Command, in its ongoing search and rescue operations across the state, has succeeded in rescuing 11 victims that were abducted on Thursday, 12 August 2021. The effort had led to the unconditional rescue was sequel to the report of abduction of 11 persons by some group of hoodlums suspected to be bandits at Erkofoji village in Bakura local government area. The command also succeeded in the rescue of Chief Security Officer of the College of Health Technologies, AFI. The Commissioner of Police, Zamfara State Command CP Ayuba Elkana, assures the people of the state about the ongoing efforts of the command to rescue other victims currently in captivity. 9 students have been kidnapped in Sakai area of Katsina State following an attack on the community. Isa Gambo, police spokesperson in Katsina, confirmed the incident. The students were said to be returning from the Islamia school in the area, which they ran into the gunmen who were attacking the residents of the area. The 9 students, all boys, were said to have been taken away by the gunmen who drove away on motorcycles. You are still watching TrustTV News Update. Coming up after the break, disciples of Al-Zazzaki demand release of his passport. This and more after the break. Stay with us.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the TrustTV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search TrustTV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. TrustTV, documenting the Nigerian story.
My name is Samuel Dada.
Yakubu Isa, ana mana kabi da jeji.
Aminu Musa.
A wannan harkar ce muke dan samun abinci, an muke taimaka mu wasu da yawa.
Looking for private jobs. Sometimes you get employed and the process of payment, you undergo some kind of stress.
Thank you for sticking with us. You're still watching Trust TV News Update. Now, here are our top stories. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has recorded 1,149 new cases of COVID-19, the highest number of infections in any single day since February 2020. Zamfara State Police Command, in its ongoing search and rescue operations across the state, has succeeded in rescuing 11 victims that were abducted on Thursday, 12th August 2021. Still ahead, following the killing of 25 persons along Rukuba Road in Jos North local government area of Plateau State on Saturday morning, the Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong reacted to the crisis, warning perpetrators to desist as the government would not allow any form of lawlessness to disrupt the peace of the state. The governor also imposed a curfew as response on Jos North, Bassa and Jos South local government. Now, Daily Trust correspondent Dixon Adama, who is presently in Jos, gives us an update. Hello, Dixon. What's the situation currently?
The crisis on the plateau has been ravaging so many people, and so many areas have suffered great loss in terms of property and human lives have gone. Right now, the situation on ground is that curfew has been imposed on 3 local government areas, which is Jos North, Jos South, and Bassa local government. Jos North local government curfew and Jos South local government curfew, Bassa local government curfew have different timing. For Jos North, it's 24 hours curfew, but for Jos South and Bassa, it is 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's from dusk to dawn. However, in spite of the curfew, so skirmishes are still being experienced in several communities. For instance, on Monday, when the curfew was already enacted, there were killings along Congo, Russia, and so many other communities. Last night, somewhere around Adinkowa, there were gunshots and all of that, because fracas was supposed to break out, but security people rushed there and the thing was under control. So many people within that area said they didn't sleep throughout the night. But the government is saying that they have lifted the curfew. However, because of the security reports and other tension that is still high, they say the curfew will continue for now, so that now should be calm.
Islamic movement in Nigeria has called on the federal government to release the passport of its leader, Sheikh Ibrahim Zazzaki, and wife Zinat, that will facilitate their journey abroad for proper medical treatment. Coordinator Resource Forum of the movement, Engineer Yunus Alawal, made the call in Kaduna as they commemorate the day of Ashura, the 10th day of the first Islamic month. He noted that the movement would hold its annual demonstration across the country, but assured that it will be peaceful. It will be recalled that Sheikh Zazzaki and wife were discharged and acquitted from the 8-count charge against them by a federal high court in Kaduna on the 28th of July 2021.
As we bask in the glory of the release of our leader, we would like to draw the attention of well-meaning Nigerians and the international community on the delay tactics of the federal government in releasing his passport and that of his wife that will facilitate their journey abroad for the proper treatment of the wounds they sustained during the military attack on their residence in December 2015. Sheikh Zazzaki and his wife are now free citizens. Why should their passports be withheld? Why? Lest we forget, in 2018, even a Kaduna State High Court granted them medical leave to visit India to regain their daily deteriorating health condition, but the government botched up that medical trip, and now their passport has not been released to them, even though they are still in dire need for medical attention.
Elsewhere, the Kano State Upper Sharia Court sitting in Kofar Kudu has adjourned the trial of Abdul Jabbar Nasir Kabara to September 2nd, 2021 on the jurisdiction of the Senior Advocate of Nigeria to appear over the case. This is the second time Abdul Jabbar will be appearing in Kano Upper Sharia Court since some group of Kano clerics were said to have defeated him in a debate by Kano State government.
Once you raise an issue of jurisdiction before a court, whether of the court or a person appearing before it, the Supreme Court is very explicit on this, that you must wait and determine issue of jurisdiction first and foremost. Because whatever a court will do, at the end of the day, if it turns out it has no jurisdiction, that is a waste of time, waste of resources, and then the clients and everybody will suffer for nothing. That's why we are saying that since they don't have jurisdiction to appear before the court, the fiat is defective to start with. And then there is no question of changing or substituting your charge, complaint, or whatever before Sharia court. This is the position of Islamic law under my people. So nobody has the right to now come and say, in fact, they are trying to ignore completely the FIR. After all, it was based on the FIR that our client is now in detention.
Our position is that their objections are premature because under the law, Administration of Criminal Justice Law of Kano State, under Section 390, it's only when a charge has been read and a plea taken that an objection can be taken. And then that objection will be responded to by the respondent, and the hearing of the substantive matter will continue, and ruling will be delivered along with judgment at the end of the day.
The just concluded two-day national conference on transportation infrastructure development in Nigeria, organized by the Nigeria Institute of Transport and Federal Ministry of Transportation, had in attendance a lot of key players in the sector. The conference is aimed at upgrading and suggesting sustainable funding for transport infrastructural development in collaboration with the private sector. Trust TV's Aisha Saliu has the report.
The transportation sector is an important component of the economy and a common tool used for development of every other sector. Experts are now bothered that the sector contributes less than 5% to Nigeria's gross domestic product. This two-day national conference is premised on sustainable funding for transport development in Nigeria towards finding alternative options to grow the sector.
Given the current economic realities, where the government sources of funding are being threatened by unstable oil revenues and the myriads of other challenges, there is need to address the nation's problems of funding transport infrastructure development head-on. In a recent report, the World Bank had observed that Nigeria requires about $14.2 billion annually to fund its infrastructure deficit.
The Minister of Finance and Minister of State for Transportation, speaking at the conference, says government's innovation through private sector financing is yielding results, but focus should be on creating more opportunities for investors, while also highlighting the achievements so far.
Interventions by the Federal Ministry of Transportation include massive construction of roads, rail lines with access roads, inland water ports, seaports, new terminals in existing ports, dry ports with access to roads and rail, the inland container depot and freight, all geared towards building a modern and efficient transportation system that guarantees sustainable socio-economic development of Nigeria.
The transport infrastructure financing allows us to deepen our domestic capital market through the issuance of medium to long-term debt instruments, which allow citizens and institutional investors to take a stake in the future growth of our economy. The issuance of Eurobonds targeted at infrastructure spending allows us to raise foreign exchange at the international capital market determined rates, but also registers Nigeria as a viable investment destination for foreign investors. We have seen businesses selecting industrial corridors to invest in, and they recover their investments through tax credits. In January 2021, Mr. President signed the Executive Order number 007 that we call the Road Infrastructure Tax Credit Scheme. This Executive Order was signed with the first batch of 19 roads, totaling about 794 kilometers, with 7 investors uptaking to build those roads with their resources.
Director General of Debt Management Office addressed the prospects of the China Belt Road Initiative towards Nigeria's transport infrastructural development.
So with China, they're very supportive of infrastructure financing. All we need to do is identify the projects. We identify the projects ourselves. The costing is also us. Once they are approved and contracts are awarded, we then begin to arrange for financing.
A concrete resolution at the meeting shows that a shift on reliance of public financing to private funding through a beneficial policy would better address transportation deficit. Aisha Salihu, TrustTV News, Abuja.
And in business, Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika says the Federal Executive Council has approved 16.6 billion for the execution of 4 projects by his ministry across the country. Sirika stated this when he briefed State House correspondents on the outcome of the council meeting chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja. According to him, the projects to be executed in the contracts include construction of Wachakal Airport in Yobe at 6.3 billion, post-construction services for the same airport at the cost of 219.8 million, and procurement of 8 airport rescue and firefighting vehicles at the cost of 9.5 billion.
4 memoranda was taken from civil aviation. One of it is approval for the construction of Wachakal Airport. Wachakal Airport is in Yobe State. And the contract is for the sum of 6,284,065,056 naira even. And in our drive to develop the sector and ensure connectivity within our region, and also improve on our security architecture, and also tend to the various needs of civil aviation, we found this airport and many others that are coming across the country useful. And the second memo was post-consultancy services for the construction of the same airport. Wachakal airstrip is very close to Nguru in Yobe State. So the consultancy, post-consultancy services is given to Kefe Engineering. Kefe Engineering for the sum of 219,782,500 naira only. This will include 7.5%.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service is targeting 10.1 trillion revenue in the 2022 financial year. From the sum, the federal government is expected to get 2.053 trillion, while the balance will go to states and local councils. According to the revenue-generating body, the Petroleum Industry Act, which has just been signed, will negatively affect the revenue government expects from the petroleum profit tax next year. Chairman of FIRS, Mohammed Nami, said during the 2022-2024 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper interaction with the House of Representatives Committee on Finance, as well as ministries, departments and agencies at the National Assembly complex in Abuja. And on the international scene, Haitian officials say at least 1,904 people are known to have died in Haiti in Saturday's powerful earthquake, a rise of more than 500 on the previous figure. Rescue workers have managed to pull 34 people alive from the rubble, but many are still missing after the 7.2 magnitude quake. The search for survivors has been hampered by heavy rains brought this week by Tropical Storm Grace. Nearly 10,000 people have been injured and others bedridden. The UN says about 500,000 children now have limited or no access to shelter, safe water and food. World Health Organization is worried about the spread of COVID-19 in Afghanistan amid the unrest triggered by the Taliban seizure of power. It was reported that the chaos has slowed down the vaccinations against COVID-19. Following the current anxiety and unpredictable situation in the country, the World Health Organization mobile health teams have been interrupted in Kabul, the nation's capital, for the past 24 hours. The chaos at Kabul airport slowed down deliveries of medical supplies and worsening existing shortages being experienced across the country. Jasarevich, however, noted that WHO, like other UN agencies, is committed to staying in Afghanistan. And in sports, Tottenham is reportedly in talks to sign Kurt Zouma, a French professional footballer who plays a centre-back for Chelsea. English Premier League counterpart West Ham had earlier shown interest in the 26-year-old player. It was reported in some quarters earlier that Tottenham is in talks to also sign French Tines Kinola Mirokovic. The English club, however, topped the chart of seeking Zuma's move out of Stamford Bridge this summer. Sky Sports News had reported that Zuma's preferences is to remain in London amid interest from West Ham. The centre-back is West Ham's primary target, with the Frenchman open to a move to the London stadium, although difficulty lies in the valuation, with Chelsea thought to want in the region of £25 million and Zuma's wages. Back in Nigeria, Team Nigeria made history by clinching gold in the 400 meters mixed relay event at the ongoing Under-20 Athletics Championship in Nairobi, Kenya. The quartet of Johnson Namani, Imabonge Seoko, Okpeyemi Oke and Bamidele Ajayi stomped to victory in a record time of 3:19.70, leaving the likes of Poland to 3:19.80 and India to 3:20.20 in their wake. Nigeria made a change to the quartet that ran a then championing record of 3:21.66 in the semi-final by bringing in Seoko, the fastest girl in the quarter mile, coming to the race. Meanwhile, Minister for Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dari has loaded 400 meters mixed relay team for the historic feat at the ongoing World Athletics Under-20 Championship. Dari advised the athletics body to take the victory as a springboard in restoring the country's past glory. And that wraps it up for News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Thank you for watching.